I'm up here at Porkchop's yard. This is the first time that I've been up here since I sold her. You can see all the snow's gone. There's where I used to feed her every day. There's her house. It's very strange to come up here and not have Porkchop waiting at the corner for me when I get here. And it's actually pretty difficult to be up here. It just brings back bad memories of having to give up my pig, and it just is a real bummer, but I knew eventually that I'd have to face this. I've actually been avoiding coming up here, but today I'm planning to disassemble her old house that's behind me here and hopefully take that down into the garden for the chickens to be in the springtime. So I knew it was something that I'd have to come up here and face, and that's what I'm doing right now. And it's just something that I need to reflect on and think about for a while. Now, the one positive thing that's come from not having Porkchop for a little while has been that I'm able to see things a little more objectively than I could when I was raising her and when I sold her. And I think about raising livestock now as quite an obligation. As you probably know, I've had a goal for a long time to raise dairy goats, and I want to do that to supplement my income and maybe even as a full-time thing eventually, where I would have the goats and I'd raise them and milk them and do all that stuff. But what I found with Porkchop, and I think this is probably similar for any animal, is that they become quite an obligation. Like Porkchop, for example, every day, twice a day, I came up here, fed, watered her, make sure that she had any kind of bedding or shelter that she needed and everything was okay, made sure the fence was working properly. And it was a lot of work, but I was happy to do it. But the thing is, you're not always going to have that. This was fall into winter, and I didn't have a whole lot going on. But in the summertime, at this point in my life at least, I'd like to have the ability to travel, to go camping, to be away from the house for a little while. And I know I could find someone to come up and take care of whatever animal I were to have here, but it's not really a burden that I would like to put on someone else, especially for an extended period of time, and especially if it's more than once a day. That's really hard to ask someone to do that for you. So for right now, my stance on raising livestock has changed to the point that I think I'm going to hold off for now. I could definitely see it being something that I do later in life, maybe if I'm not working a full-time job, if I didn't have the mortgage that I have and the obligations that I have. If I was self-sufficient, I would definitely look to do that, and I can see that being a part of my life. But for right now, I want to be a little free, I guess you'd say, and just have the chickens. The chickens are very self-sufficient. All they do, I mean, you could put food and water in there and let them go for several days and they're going to be fine. Just leave their door open. It's a little risky, and of course they're not going to have fresh water every day like I like to provide for them, but it's something, and they can definitely take care of themselves, whereas an animal like Porkchop or goats or cows, things like that, they really can't. So it's a whole different ball game, and it's something that I learned very quickly, and I'm thankful that I learned that with Porkchop. That was a good thing that came from this. But her area here, I am gonna bring some positivity to this area. The whole caged-in area that's up here, I'm gonna remove all the fencing. That's gonna be a lot of work. But what I'm going to do this spring is hopefully plant some cantaloupe. I want to plant some watermelon and some pumpkins all throughout this area. So I think that'll be really nice to bring some life to where life once was, and to bring some positivity back into this area, which is desperately needed, I think. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on this right now with you since I'm up here, and I'm just kind of reflecting. So thank you for watching, and I'll have another video up here soon.